Welcome to the MiniMapCast. My name's Jeremy. Joining me is Kerry. Hi, Kerry.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm very well today, thank you. How are you?
Good. I'm glad to hear that you're very well today. Thank you. I didn't know where to go from there. You're usually not able to like wig me out on that. Usually I'm the one doing it to you. So bravo.
No, yeah, I got myself with that one too. It was just like, what are we doing?
Where do we go from here? Thank you very much for joining us. The MiniMapCast is the premier podcast of minimap.com.au, an independent Australian games website. If you like what you're hearing, make sure you tell all your friends and give the show a positive rating wherever you listen to your podcast. It makes a huge difference and only takes a few seconds. If you want to get notified every time a new episode is released, make sure to follow us on social media. We are at MiniMapAU on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and minimap.com.au on Blue Sky. And we also want to say a very big thank you to Shook for letting us use the Moog Model D Improv as the music for the Minimap cast. You can listen to more of Shook's music at shook.bandcamp.com.
Hey, Jeremy.
Hi, Kerry.
We spent a good while trying to come up with a topic for today's episode.
Yes.
And we're throwing around this idea back and forth and didn't really come to fruition. But part of where the original idea for that idea came from was from a place of looking at all the games that have come out this year that I haven't even been able to think about buying and getting started, let alone like finishing the ones I already have. I keep looking at the people enjoying Pokemon Pokopia, and I'm just like, I want that to be me so bad, but I hear how long it is, and I don't know when I can do it. I don't know when I'm going to be able to do that, but I want to do it.
I was thinking about that today as well because I've also not been able to pick it up just yet, and I was thinking like, I wonder when I'm going to be able to get to it, and I think I'm actually much closer than I realized. I think I'm probably only about a week or two away, because there's time, I guess, for me then, and so I was like, okay, cool. Like I had enough on over the past like sort of 2 weeks that I could, if I didn't have like just like other events on, then I would have been able to like to pick it up and feel good about it. But yeah, I'm almost there.
Yeah.
But it did also make me think like, have I touched my Switch 2 all year? The answer is I think actually no.
Yeah. Wow. That's funny. I mean, for the Steam Deck havers, it doesn't really surprise me that much.
But even then, all the big games this year are not like Switch 2. Actually, look, Resident Evil 9 is on the Switch 2, so like that's exciting for those people who then pick that up. But like a lot of the big games this year have not been on that console, so it's just kind of like
not yet.
Yeah, not yet. What is the
like
yet?
So far?
Oh, sure, yeah. I mean, between here and March. Oh, sorry, between here and January, they've just been not here, and so like
they've definitely had a thinner release schedule than when the Switch 1 came out. Hey,
yeah, I
kind of don't blame them because they didn't have a generation before that to just leave in the dust and forget it even existed to bolster their Switch 1 lineup for.
I saw there was an article on Video Games Chronicles just today which says that Nintendo Switch is more popular amongst Japanese teens than Disney, Pokemon, and Nintendo itself. The survey finds.
I saw that. I don't know what that means. So the Switch 2 console is more popular than even the brand of Nintendo. Yep.
You know,
strange.
In the way that like, you know, Spider-Man it would be more popular than Marvel.
Right.
It's just like it's kind of, you know, it's why they made it a Switch 2 and not like a different thing.
Yeah.
Kind of nuts, huh?
Yeah, that is crazy.
So, what we've been playing this week, starting off, is a game called Crimson Desert, which has been in and around the place for a little while and now finally came out.
I'm so excited to talk about this game. I'm so excited.
Like just before we jump into how we feel about it, the lead up to the launch of this game was bizarre, like
baffling.
Like I saw so many people going, "This game looks amazing. This game looks incredible. you are going to be able to do anything in this game, blah, 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 blah,
Yeah.
blah.
This game looks too good to be true.
And every single time I looked at the video for this game, and I'm not trying to be like, I was right from the beginning, but like every single time I was looking at it going like, this looks all right. Like it looks fine. It looks like a bit thrown together in a lot of ways. Not as in like it has not got good presentation, but it's like just a whole lot of ideas that you can do all of them. And so like I remember you were surprised that I was even a little bit interested in it, because it's usually not sort of the game that I would go for.
Yeah, totally. And I hadn't really heard you talk about it. Like we'd never really spoken about it much.
Well, like I've not been overtly excited about it, but it was more just a game that I looked at being like, oh, look, it might be all right. And I think it's trying enough things that I know it's not going to be able to do all of them well. Like it's just like, they're just not that like team. They're not that studio. There's too many things going on, and I was hoping that I was going to be able to buy it and play it and find a whole lot of wacky ideas brought together in a way that is kind of interesting as an end product. And I think so far in my time of playing it, which I think is about maybe 10 hours or so, maybe 10 to 15 hours. I think it is that. It is a whole lot of ideas brought together without a tremendous amount of like, not that it doesn't have vision, but like it's not cohesive in a lot of ways. It is
absolutely.
It is a mighty busy game.
Jeremy, this game is so confusing.
Yeah,
and
right?
I think it is so confused as well.
Yes.
There was a Reddit post I posted in the Discord yesterday that maybe we'll get to in a little bit. But talking a bit about how at the studio there's sort of been a bit of there was some creative upheaval in terms of the main creatives leading the team. A year or two ago, I think it was.
Which is this is alleged specifically.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, which is why I didn't really want to like. It's not like the headline of stuff, but that story fits with my experience of the game and and what I've been able to interpret from the game. So I was working on this game pre-release for Guide's work, and first of all, I just want to say this has been one of, in terms of my freelance work, and you know I'm not representing my employer. This is just me, Kerry the freelancer, saying this, but I have found this to be one of the most frustrating games to work on, simply because they changed so many little things a little bit with patches in ways that you would not be able. It would seem small and it would seem like not a big deal, but because this game, it isn't the best at telling you what to do or how to do it. So a lot of our tips started focusing on, hey, they kind of don't tell you about this. Look out for this. Hey, if you want to earn money really fast, you can sell your skill points to vendors, and then you'll get like 100 silver all of a sudden, which is great. But if you want to buy it, it's like 285 silver, which is a stupid amount of money. But like a number of our guides like mentioned that, because that was like that seemed to be the best way to get money at the start of the game. It was like, because it's you kind of scraping for pocket change at the start.
Yeah, it's the hurdle that I'm still working my way through at the moment, like 15 hours in, where I'm like, God, I just don't have any money to do so much.
Yeah, totally. So they patched that out. I don't know if it just wasn't intended or people were using it in ways they weren't expecting, but you are no longer able to sell your skill points. And also they lowered the price of buying skill points from vendors by a whole, like, it's 10 times cheaper than it used to be. So like it's one of those things where it's not a big deal, but there were so many things like that. They renamed location names, so you'd have to go in and re-record a line for a video because of it. So
it's also not like
to work on.
It's also not unheard of, like for things that, well, like, I mean, like I even as someone who doesn't do guides work pre-release, like I have heard of many a game that just they tweak things here and there, and they either like, you know, fix player pathing, like or player guiding, or even like change up like areas and music and stuff. Like I know I know like there are many stories of that happening in Elden Ring as well. Like it's not like
Thing is,
so
I haven't worked on
out
a
of nowhere.
game. I haven't worked on. No, I'm not saying it's like they did it at all, and that's the problem. I'm saying I haven't worked on a game that changed this many separate times. Like it was
Right.
like 3 or 4 patches, and each time was like, wait, what have they done now? And also where they've changed so much. So it's frustrating to work on. But I actually really enjoy how sort of unique this game is in its presentation. I enjoy how it looks.
Yeah.
It's this sort of
it's a pretty looking
hyper realistic fantasy world in terms of its presentation. But the way this game strikes me when I'm not doing guides work and I'm just playing it is it's like someone took the hyper interactivity of a world like Red Dead 2 and some of the mechanics and theming and sort of general action adventure-ness of a game like Tears of the Kingdom, smashed them together and lost about 20% of the polish that both of those games have along the way. Like this game is nowhere near as polished as Red Dead Redemption 2, and it's nowhere near as polished as Tears of the Kingdom. It does so many things that it could be very easy to forget whole mechanics, whole subsystems, because you don't interact with it for 8 hours and you come back around and you're like, oh yeah, what is this? I don't even remember what this is called to look this up to remember what this is. but also I think it's kind of fun and kind of silly. How do you feel about the game?
Yeah, like I feel similarly to that, like, because it's definitely got a lot of the like, it's got that Tears of the Kingdom, fantasy, not fantasy in terms of like genre, like wizards and magic and stuff, even though it does have a lot of that stuff, but that Tears of the Kingdom fantasy of you are this player in this big sandbox. You are able to chop down trees, and if you chop down a tree, then the log is going to roll, and then the log is going to roll and bump something, and then it's going to knock over a thing, and it's going to set something on fire, and blah 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 blah. Like it's maybe not quite as fully living and breathing as it might be in Tears of the Kingdom, but also Tears of the Kingdom is doing a lot less in those spaces that realistically this game would not be able to do that level of world simulation with the amount of just systems that it has for you to do. This whole economy, the skill tree, like, gives me a migraine. And you've got like all of these different stories that are sort of happening, I'm in chapter 2 now, and like, I don't know what that means aside from I'm now in chapter 2, seemingly arbitrarily. And now I've gotten a couple of the powers that you have, and there are sort of moments in the story that is now starting to begin to develop. I'm getting a grasp on, like smithing versus like taking my stuff to a foundry and cooking and fishing and all these things. Like I'm getting used to that stuff and how the inventory works and the quick item select and all of that.
That was the other thing. The inventory that was available in the first patch was like 25 slots at the start of the game, which was woeful. It was miserable.
Yeah. Like, and
sorry, go on.
Even now, which I think I'm at like something like 40 or whatever, like every chance I get, I'm still buying more inventory space. And I know a lot of quests are also giving me more inventory space, which I think is useful. Mm-hmm. But like, yeah, like it's doing so many things, and like, I know the game gets much bigger later. Like, I know that there is, like, I've seen in the trailer, there's like flying dragons and stuff like that. And there's like more things.
And like more magic with the combat and stuff like that.
Yeah. And like, I've not even worked a lot of that stuff into my combat yet, because all I'm doing at the moment is pretty like, not generic, but simplistic Witcher style combat, like heavy, light, dodge, block, counter. But, I know I can weave in all these, powers that I'm getting into it. And there's other things that I'm sure I can weave into it later, which gets nuts. Like, I've seen, I was looking at some of the abilities that I can unlock later, and they are a lot. They're like, there's so many combo things. It's kind of like in the Arkham games, how you have like all of the different gadgets you get, and you can like sort of quick use them all in combat, and you can string them together if you want. But you can also ignore them if you don't want to just ever use them in combat, and that's fine.
Just want to slash your sword and get it done.
Totally, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Like the way I've described this game is it's just a very wide game. The first time you go up into the sky and get some powers, you get to look out on the world and you realize that it's one of those like, hey, you see that mountain over there, you can climb it type vibes. And I think that's exciting. Like I think that it is working in some ways. Like some of the gears are actually turning. You know,
I wouldn't say it's a bad game.
No, like it's not a bad game. Like it's got that kind of, like, you know, the first time, you know, in in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom to a lesser extent, like when you have that moment where you see the world and it is presented to you and you are unleashed upon it at the same time as it kind of unleashes upon you, and you get that like sense of like, oh fuck, like I can just go. I am getting part of that in Crimson Desert. I'm hoping that there is an ongoing sense of engagement in the world throughout the rest of it. And I don't think that I've heard that there isn't, because the systems are sort of built and robustly designed around the whole world. But like, you know, like when I think about the first act of Elden Ring, for example, the first chunk of the map, once you leave that and you start heading up into like Leonia of the Lakes and stuff, the world gets smaller and smaller as you get higher and higher, or at least the zones are smaller and they are more bespoke.
Yeah, it's like the explorable spaces get a bit thinner.
Yeah.
Like as you go, thinner and then thinner and then thinner.
But but the rest of the zones in Elden Ring, I think part of maybe one of my critiques of that game is that those zones don't feel like anyone could have ever gone anywhere aside from like forward or backwards. Like they feel like Mario worlds at that point. Whereas
especially once you get past the capital.
Totally. Whereas like you know, that early Limgrave area is connected to like 4 or 5 areas that it feels like there would have been kingdoms here at some point that were, you know, interacting with each other. So I hope that it feels like that throughout the rest of Crimson Desert. Where the worlds feel like sort of like the zones and the biomes and the different countries and townships feel like there is a like some connective tissue with it on a like in game in world sense. One thing I haven't.
Have you zoomed out the map all the way?
No. Big.
Stupid.
Yeah.
Stupid big.
Yeah.
I recommend doing it just for the eye boggle.
Just for the bit, yeah.
Yeah, just for yourself, just so you can go, oh fuck me.
Well, one of the things that I have been appreciating, at least so far in the first like zone, which I've barely ventured out of, has been that at the very least, what I've been liking is the world feels quite naturally designed. I'm enjoying like the placement of the buildings and the town's sort of shape on the terrain, and also just like the terrain itself. Like I was following a river that was actually quite naturally dammed and blocked off, and then it flowed into like a pig pen that was just quite muddy, and you can actually see remnants of where a river might have been. And I was looking at it going like, that actually seems really cool, that like it does feel like there was a river here that was blocked off at some point by the townsfolk here. And then walking further down the ravine, I didn't know there was a river at the end of it, but I had just assumed there was because the landscape was just naturally guiding me towards river, and there was sort of like steps, like the STEPPES, like sort of up as it was sort of the terrain was coming into my field of view. And sure enough, there was a river at the bottom, which is where the fish were. And I went fishing and I was like, okay, cool. Like I didn't need to look at the map at that moment. I kind of just used the context of the world to find it. And like, you don't always get that in games because worlds are so designed. So I enjoyed that really did feel quite naturalistic. And so, yeah, like I'm hoping that style of thought will persist throughout the rest of the time of me playing it, where I'm getting into these different zones and I can understand why there might be sort of more of a cold area here, or, you know, like a desert over here or whatever. you know, as opposed to, and this is not better or worse, but like the world of Final Fantasy VII, like especially the remake saga, is so fantastical. Like the world, like the terrain and the worlds of that game, like do not make sense. Like fundamentally, they are so fantasy, and that's like it's not better or worse. It is just a very different approach to designing that world. Which sort of does lead me to like a really funny thing, which like maybe my biggest problem with the game is it's not just the story, which I think is, look, at the very least so far, not really presented itself much to me aside from that like prologue, ostensibly, where you meet a bunch of people and they all, like, you know, everybody dies aside from the 3 people you're definitely going to meet later because they all have...
Yeah, aside from the 3 named characters.
Yeah, aside from the 3 named characters who have very explicitly like not like non-deaths, like you don't see the bodies, or they run. But like Cliff, the character, is like, I'm finding Cliff a very awkward mix between silent protagonist like a Skyrim or like a even Link, awkward between that and like a spoken protagonist like Final Fantasy modern protagonists that speak but are not really that like they are not the focus characters. Like the focus characters are like the best buddy or, you know, like the party that you're with and whatever. Like I'm finding Cliff this really awkward mix where it's like it's, you know, and I didn't like Clive as a character in Final Fantasy 16, but even Clive has more to do than Cliff does at almost any given moment. And part of that I think is I just don't know anything about him really. And the other half,
but they also don't really give you anything about him either.
Well, but they also didn't even, like, they don't even, like, he doesn't speak to NPCs. NPCs will say 2 or 3 lines of like dialogue to him at any given moment, and he will rarely actually reply.
Yeah, the ratio is like 5-1 or something.
Yeah, it's utterly bizarre, and so I can't tell if I'm meant to inhabit this character or I'm meant to portray this character or I'm meant to like this character. Like it just doesn't seem anything, and it's really strange.
Yeah, he's pretty wooden and boring.
Yeah.
in terms of his personality, I don't know that he really has one. His personality is he's a grey mane, this part of this warrior tribe, and he got his tribe got scattered and attacked, and now he wants to find them all again. That's that's not a personality though. That's the plot.
Yeah.
Like, but that is his personality. That's the best he's got, really.
Yeah. But like the other games that we've evoked, you know, or the other games that this game is evoking, you know, which is like Breath of the Wild, The Witcher 3, Red Dead, like each of those games have got very deliberate characters that are either, you know, people fucking love Geralt, and you know, he's got at the very least, like, he's got a personality to him, even if you don't like it. He's got one. Arthur Morgan.
And a history.
Totally. Arthur Morgan, you know, like at the beginning, I think it takes you a while to warm up to him. But by the end of that game, like you're weeping for Arthur Morgan, which was never what I was ever going to expect from that game. And Link is explicitly silent, like decidedly not a character that is like, you know, genuinely not you at any given moment.
Totally.
So yeah, it's an awkward mix.
Yeah, I completely agree.
I think it looks cool. I'm excited to play more.
Good, cool. I'm glad you're liking it. I think the visuals are pretty great, honestly. I think it's really well optimized. Yeah.
Like I'm running it at ultra at 60 and having no major problem. Like I've got a good video card, but like my CPU's old now and it's still going fine.
Totally. And like part of it is like, you know, it does have like there is a growing trend of image reconstruction permeating video game graphics in the last 12, 18, 24 months on a more fundamental level. And this game has that in a way, you know, where like if a sword passes over a shimmering field of grass that's blowing in the wind, then you'll see like ghosting images of where the sword passes over it in like a trail. And it's like, well, that's just upscaling after images. Like that's just bad. And like, you know, I'm seeing those sort of artifacts happen more and more across games in general, and like it is distracting. The problem is the benefits of the tech. I think they far outweigh those negatives. It's much like sort of screen space reflections. How we kind of got a bit over the downsides after a while, where you can't see the reflections if you can't see the thing that in your field of view already. That's why ray trace reflections are so much more exciting, because it's like, oh, there's a thing I couldn't see around the corner of that puddle because I couldn't see it. But yeah, this game has a lot of those sort of weird graphics things where it just doesn't behave the way you think it should, or
it's got like dithering on hair and especially the foliage, because the foliage is all very dynamically like windy, and when you run through it will react to you quite a lot.
And like you use your lantern a lot because it like reveals things to you, and it doing that reveals like there's some funkiness with the lighting in some environments. In some places it's drop dead stunning, it's incredible. And then other times with the lantern you use it, especially inside in a dark environment, and you pointed at something. And have you seen that effect that happens when you put the lantern away, and then the area that was lit up, instead of, when you light an area and you close the light's gone. But the way the light works in this game is it's like the surfaces that reflect the light are absorbent. They're like light absorbent. And so the light source goes away, and then the light that was reflecting it slowly fades. It slowly dissipates the light it was absorbing for those 2 seconds you held your lantern out. It's that's not how light works. Yeah, it doesn't work like that.
It will continue to calculate based off the light that it has, in which case it is continuing to mirror itself a little bit.
Yeah, but there's the way they've generated, the way the light's being processed, and I don't know if this is AI upscaling or just how they've done it, but it seems more like an AI post-processing sort of thing, where it's like, oh, is the light off? Oh, we'll lower a bit. Oh, the light's still gone. Like, I don't think it is quite that, because I think you could turn it off and it still happens.
Yeah, because like I've turned off all of the upscaling and all of the frame generation stuff, and like it's still coming. It's just awkward. It's awkward screen space technique. Reflections.
I've never seen it used anywhere like that before.
Yeah, it's so
strange.
It is strange. Like I did notice that a little bit, where like I would move the camera around a bit, and like what was being like illuminated was something that was sort of like kind of around the corner by mistake, because it was catching the light at the edge of the screen that I was trying to reflect off.
Yeah, or if you're in like a castle or like a cave, and then there's like shiny rocks that are like wet rocks, or if you're in a castle, it's like a shiny reflective floor or walls, or like goblets and chests on a table or something, but it's in a dark room. Some part of it thinks it's receiving light somewhere, and it gets this shimmering, speckly, like constellation light effect, because it thinks it's lit and it's really not, but it knows it's reflective, and so it's sort of generating its own light source reflections, even though there's no light source, and it kind of mirrors the game, where it's sort of like mostly good, but like with a bit of like, what is the deal with that? Like, it's the same thing here. It's like the graphics are amazing, and then you enter this one dark room and you're like, what is going on in here? This is so bizarre. It just takes you straight out of it.
One of the things in this game that I'm really liking, though, is that like kind of the learning mechanic. The like having to like pick up a book and it goes in your inventory. You don't immediately learn the things in there. You have to open up the book and look at it, and you have a small meter that builds up over like 4 seconds, and then you learn the skill. And it's that for so many things. It's that for the Resident Evil style. I've got a key. If I look at the key a little bit, I realize that it's, I can find the origin of where the key, goes. Or I find a wanted poster. I have to take the wanted poster in my hands and look at it for a little bit to absorb the information.
Works in combat as well for moves. You can observe different moves from other combatants.
Sure, right, yeah. There are so many things like that. Like I've noticed that I've had prompts every now and again pop up that I don't catch in time because I'm just running through an area. But like some of it's like watch someone like cutting lumber, and I'm sure if I do that I'd probably get more lumber skill or something. But it's like that mechanic I'm finding really interesting. Partly because I think that I really enjoy that style of that style of betterment of a character. Like I think that that's a really unique way to sort of engage in in the literal world. It does also create for a really bizarre circumstance where, like, I feel like this is fucking Cliff's first day in the world, where I go to the shop and he's like, what's cheese? And looks at cheese and goes, I now know what cheese is. And then looks at like, what's beer? And looks at beer for 4 seconds and goes, I now know what beer is. And does that for like everything. And I'm like,
and also like the quests in chapter 1 where you're meeting those sort of spirits, they're all like, oh, there's a woman who's captive in the sewers, and then you free her and she's like, this is a good thing to do in the world. Keep this up and you'll go places. And then she disappears. I'm like, this is a grown ass leader of this group of, like, this guy's like older than I am. This guy's like mid-30s, like maybe older. And like, I'm getting these moral lessons, like it's good to rescue a kid's cat that's stuck on the roof. Like, what? It's
like play school. Like, it's just like everything is a fable. Like, everything is like a little, you know, has a little morality, like, you know, refresher for you at all times. And but even some of them are like bizarre. It's things like, you know, like I was walking past some guy. And there's like this big troll man just at the edge of a city, and a lot of characters are just talking, and I like the overhear rumor type aspect of it as well. Like I've always liked that in games, when you overhear a conversation and you get the beginnings of a side quest or like a little mission because you've heard a conversation about it. And so like I'm always listening to what the other characters are saying, and one of them is like, oh, like, you know, if you want to upgrade your weapons, make sure you use the right material, otherwise you won't upgrade it. And if you don't have the right material, then you should consider using a weapon for the material that you have. And I remember looking at him going like, what an odd thing to say. Like, just
or an odd thing to say unprompted to someone walking by. Hey, you!
Yeah.
Consider using iron ore!
And what an odd thing to say as someone was approaching you, like he started this before I even showed. Like, it is really strange because they're not even just talking to me. It's not like in a Fallout or a Bethesda game where you walk in and they're like, you know, like, you got to watch out for those guys over there, you know, those bandits or whatever, or like, you know, hey, you there, you should really keep an eye on this place over here. Like, it's very obvious that the world is built around you at that moment. But it's like, this, like, all the NPCs in this game feel like they are built around a collective, broad construct of you, which is whoever will listen. Which, like, my final thing about this game is that, like, this game has got kind of a lot of whimsy in it, but it's really not funny. Like, it's really bizarre, and it doesn't need to be funny, but it is kind of silly. Like, the game is absurd at times. You save a cat from a tree, and then the little kid that wanted you to save the cat turns out is like a magical being that will sort of poof into existence every now and again and show you, you know, how to use another ability or blah 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 blah. That's fine. Like, you know, that's fine. But like, I think maybe just because I think it's just because I'm not actually getting anything from Cliff. I can't tell if he's into it. Because if he's into it, then he's like, hell yeah, like, I fucking love magical beings. I can't wait for that. But he's also not like, get away from me, you little freak. Like, he's not he's not rejecting it or accepting it. He's just going along with it.
Yeah, he's got two facial expressions. One is completely blank, which you will see 90% of the time, and the other 10% of the time is like combat face.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And that's kind of his emotions as well.
Yeah.
I don't think
it's not like he's got emotive lines, but he doesn't show it. It's like he will look around with this look of indifference, and then the camera will zoom out, and then you will walk around again.
And like, maybe that is just the way I need to play it. Maybe I just need to play it like it is his fucking first day on Earth, where it's like he's never seen anything ever before in his goddamn life.
Catch question marks. What is this? It's a butterfly. This is a cricket.
Like, it's just like, it is uncanny.
Yeah, it is funny. I do think the gameplay for the combat is like, I think the combat's a little uneven at times. Some of the boss fights are not good. But they are patching them, so they'll probably be better by the time you or I get to them. But I do enjoy a lot of his move set that you can unlock pretty early on. Like, a number of his moves are just like wrestling moves.
Yeah, yeah.
Or like you could just buy like a drop kick, which so you charge your melee attack, and then he just fully like runs, jumps, and then like double feet slams into the guy. But there's also like there's two moves which are effectively the same, but one's to use it while sprinting, but it's a different type of grapple, where you just grab onto them by the shoulders and fucking slam them into the ground as hard as possible. And then you get the one where you're running, and then it's like even faster and more fierce. And sometimes they fully die from full health when you use it. And one of the best things about it, I mean, there's a lot of good like hit stop and like slow down of the animations and stuff like that, which I think helps sells the hits. But also Cliff frequently does like finisher animations to like kill a guy off. It's like slash slash slash, and then he goes into a whole like spins him around and gets his sword around the neck, and then it's like and then he glows a bit because he gets his spirit meter back a bit, and it knocks the other enemies back. Like, there's a whole lot of effects that are good in that moment. But the takedowns, those grappling takedowns where you slam him into the ground, have a lot of those same effects with the slowdown, with the impact, with the vibration in the controller. Plus, if you're near any like structures or any sort of like obstacles or furniture nearby, in like a 2-meter radius around you for doing that move, it all shatters instantly. It's like this earth-shattering meteor hit the ground. It's just boom, and then tables break and cups go flying. Or like the guard towers. I don't know if you've been to one of the camps where they have like sniper towers. If you do that move in the corner, like at the corner of that tower, the whole thing comes down. It's like, this is ridiculous. Or like trees. I've felled trees in forests by tackling people beside them, and then this tree falls down on the other people. And oh man, it's not the best gameplay in the world or anything, but it is satisfying.
Yeah, it's certainly got weight behind it. It doesn't feel like, it doesn't feel like fluttery and doesn't feel light. Like I never really loved the combat in the Witcher games. They were always just a little bit too light for me, or a little bit too like I have to slash so many times, so many things, and I do prefer this just a bit more. Where like I feel like I'm really. Like the weapons are heavy. Like the weapons are like doing a level of impact as well as like cutting damage. So yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
I rode a bear in this game.
Oh, cool.
I was fighting a bear because it was like rampaging. I needed to free some people, and then it got stunned. And then like the icon popped up beside it. I'm like, what is that? I got close and it said ride. I'm like, what?
Sick.
But it's kind of like Zelda, where it's like you can get on the bear and tame it, but as soon as you hop off, it gets aggro again. So
right. You can't like take it to a stable. Here's my bear horse. Like that's just a bear.
I don't think I ever did that in Zelda. I would love to see what the stable people say in Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom. Like, get that thing out of here, you lunatic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you?
Funny game. In terms of what I've been playing,
well,
it's mostly this week, but like I actually started playing it for the first time as opposed to like doing work on it. We did have a funny moment in chapter 2. There's a quest where there's a small boy who has a pet sheep called Wooly that he loves, and bandits have stolen Wooly, and he's crying. He's very, very upset. And Sam was watching me play this. But there's this quest is one of 4 to help out the whole town. The whole town's been affected by bandits. And before that quest, I'd gone and done the quest where you go and find their hideout and take out the bandits, and then all the villagers come and reclaim all their stuff from the main hideout and bring it all back to the village. And to do that, you have to talk to someone first who's pretending to be a grey mane. So then I did the quest to find Wooly, and I went and found Wooly, and I came back to the boy. And Cliff's the animation for Cliff holding a sheep is so cute. Like the way he can pick up so many different animals, and the animations are all excellent. And the animals all look great too, and animate really well, and sound really good. So he's got this sheep like halfway across its shoulder, like front feet over his back shoulder, and just sort of like jostling. So sort of it was a lovely trip across the river back to the village with this sheep bobbing along on my shoulder. It was a lovely time. I get to the place, and this kid's like, he's crying, and I put this down, and Cliff's like, "Is this your sheep?" And he's like, "Wooly?" And he looks around, and he's like, "No, it's not Wooly. Wooly has a fluffier tail. Wow, I'm so sad. Maybe if you go talk to the gray mane on the edge of town, he said he was going to go help get my sheep. Maybe that would help." And I was like, oh, they're expecting me to do the sheep one first, and then go talk to and then that was to prompt me to go talk to the gray mane one, to then finish the side quests by taking out their hideout and then bringing everything back to the village. And then I would assume that Wooly would have been in that whole group of everything that was being taken back, and that's where Wooly is. But I did it in reverse order. But Sam was watching me do this, and Sam was like, "But so wait, you don't get to see Wooly the sheep?" I'm like, "No, because it's this whole, I think I did it out of order." And Sam's like, "They let you do it out of order though?" And like, I'm like, "Yeah, it's a bit funny, isn't it?" And Sam's like, "I'm so annoyed. I'm legitimately," Sam was pissed because Sam was wanting the gratification of giving this kid his sheep back. And so now Sam's stuck with like, I don't think this kid ever got his sheep. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure he got his sheep. It's just like they don't have the voice lines for it, and they didn't animate really any other, like we went to the paddock after a while, and the kid was hanging out with a sheep, but it wasn't Wooly. And so Sam was, and I was just like, "Oh, that's probably just Wooly," but they didn't rename the like thing. And Sam was so annoyed and just like mouthing off at the game for the next like hour as I just played the rest of the quests. And we were doing this like, the merchant guild has been taken over by this power hungry whatever, and Sam was like, "Oh, they're probably gonna like end that boss fight without any dialogue." And I'm like, "Sam, you gotta calm down. It was one sheep. This game's not that deep. It's just they're doing too many things, and they miss some details, and I'm sorry you got invested."
That's funny.
It
That's
was
really
very
good.
funny. It just got accidentally rug pulled.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I've been playing a bit of Marathon this week on the weekends. That game's really good in multiplayer. I don't feel like I have heaps to say about it, but it's fun.
You played single player yet?
See, that's the thing. Not really. I was playing a little bit after my last session ended this weekend, but the game crashed after a few rounds, so I stopped. I did a rook round where I loaded in, and I was like, "There's a sound nearby," and I walk around a corner, and there's 3 people in an exfil circle. But I just had a pistol. I literally just loaded in. And so I just shot at one of them and downed them. And then I got around the corner, I reloaded my pistol. And then when I looked around the corner again, they were freaking out, but then they timed out and they exfilled. And I'm like, okay, well, whatever. It was meaningless. I downed them for no reason and then moved on with my day.
Oh, it's nice to just give someone a little bit of a surprise every now and again.
Yeah, totally.
Because they would have been freaking the fuck out.
Yeah, I reckon so. Yeah, there's something about, I think because the game has stakes, and because I know I'm new at it, I'm reluctant to put my time into it when I've just got like a spare hour in the evening, because I know it's going to be like 1 or 2 runs, and I know it could end very well with like 4 runs of me getting trounced, and then that's my night. You know what I mean? And so I think about that. If I've got a whole thing and I'm interacting with friends and that, and we're playing for like a few hours, I know we're going to have some good ones, some bad ones. I'm going to have someone to talk to during the downtime because the matchmaking takes a while. So I haven't been super keen to play it solo.
It's you get a lot of quests done.
I know, that's the thing. Like, it's a weird tension, right? Because when I'm playing with people, like when we're playing with Byron, and I'm trying to get the story quests done so we can progress all the things, I have to be like, okay, hang on, pause that anecdote. I've got to listen to this future person give me the creeps for 60 seconds. And so I'm constantly being like, I don't have time to go through my vault. I don't have time to open my intel things because I don't want to skim read them. But then like if I'm not playing on my own, then I'm not going to have the time to do that stuff. It's a weird tension for me. And I think if I've never been one to play multiplayer games that much on my own. Like I never really played that much Apex Legends, just matchmaking, or Destiny multiplayer was pretty rare for me to do. And that's a weird hybrid situation. But PUBG, I hardly ever played on my own. I was basically always with friends. And so, I'm sort of locking into that similar groove here. It's just, I can't quite tell what the best way to play this game is, because I mean, it's however I want, right? But there is a push and pull for me where I'm like, oh, I don't want to play on my own, but oh, I should spend some time here on my own, so I do all the things. And yeah,
you start to run out of the people talking to you quite quickly. But yeah, like doing it on your own is different, because like a lot, like, when you're in a group of 3 and you've got 3 different missions that you do on the level, it sort of, it takes, roughly 20-ish minutes, 23 minutes a lot of the time. Whereas when you go in with one, you can kind of like, you can get in and out in like 8 minutes.
So you do that frequently, right? You don't stay in, you go in, you get your objectives, fill your backpack, and then head out.
It depends on what I'm doing. Like sometimes I'll stay in for the full thing if I really want to fight. Or if I really want to explore and like learn more things or whatever. But like there are plenty of times where like I'll jump in, do a thing for 8 minutes and dip.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, like it just depends.
Yeah.
It also depends on what I've got on me. Like sometimes if I've got a lot of good stuff on me, then I'm like, all right, but even then it's just like, then it's a decision I make. Then it's like, is this good stuff going to get me better stuff? Even if it's just like kills and that's just, fun practice and whatever. Or is it like, I've got this good stuff, I should leave, so I keep it, sort of thing?
That's fair. We tried the duos mode this weekend, which was interesting. It wasn't that was good because we had a few matchmake trio sessions where our third was just like exhaling into the mic every 10 seconds, or like loaded in was like, oh, I just got to get some like unstable biomass or whatever. So, but like, good luck with your objectives. We'll catch you at the exfil. And it's like,
why not playing on your own?
Why aren't you just playing as a rook where you could just go in and get whatever you need without bothering anyone?
Well, even then, like it's just like solo, fill. Solo no fill. You go in and you can take your gear in with you at that point if you need to get some good stuff and then leave.
Yeah, and so we ended up following this guy because they immediately got into a fight with robots, and then we went and did someone else's quest, and then we were like, all right, let's leave. And I was like, oh, we're not going to do my thing. Okay. Oh, well, next time, I guess. But it's a whole thing. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I just got to put some time aside to do it. But yeah, I'm so busy.
Yeah.
Like trying to stream once a week, preparing for a house inspection, like looking after my mom's backyard while she's away. Like, it's just hard to put the time into any one thing at the moment.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah, the game needs some investment. All right, well, we're going to go to a break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to do a funny, dumb segment, which is Game of the Year 2011. So we'll be back in a moment.
I was in high school then.
I was not. Welcome back. I lied. I didn't.
You did.
I wasn't still in primary school in 2011. I was in high school. I forgot what year that was.
Oh, I thought you were suggesting that you'd graduated already. You thought you were... Wow.
Yeah, no,
okay.
I was saying that I was still in primary school at that point, but no, I was not. I was in high school.
Yeah, you were well and truly in high school.
Yeah, I was in year 9. No, year 8. Year
8. We figured out that this is the 2011. We figured out this is the year that both of us got our own individual computers for gamings.
Personal computer.
Gamings. Indeed. It was pretty good going through usually when we do this, we just load up.
It wasn't
Metacritic
actually.
list.
It wasn't mine. Mine was later. I realized because this is the year I got a laptop that was a family laptop that I could play games on. but it wasn't my computer. It was a MacBook, so I could play a handful of games.
Yeah, my family got an iMac when I was in year 8, but it was the family iMac.
Yeah,
that was the year that Steam came to Mac.
That was
in 2009.
Yes,
and I desperately tried to play Left 4 Dead on the iMac, and it was passable.
Yeah, I desperately tried to play Assassin's Creed 2 on the iMac on the MacBook, and it was not passable.
No.
It was maybe 10 FPS.
Oh man, the early days of Mac Steam integration, those were the days. They weren't that good.
Well, I mean, like, it could have been if you had one of the good machines. It's just like,
I mean, we had a new iMac from that year, you know. It just, or maybe the year before, but it wasn't that old.
Yeah, but like
a Mac Pro.
Yeah, but there was more than one like spec, you know. So like, unless you were getting like the workstation ones or the really heavy duty ones, then like you weren't going to do very well with those games.
It's not like Source Engine is particularly heavy though, even back then.
No, but like the graphics was like it needed the GPU that would do like professional rendering.
Yeah,
for it to work. Like it needed those Final Cut.
Because otherwise it just had Intel integrated graphics, didn't it? Anyway, we are so far down the wrong rabbit hole. Let's jump back out, and then Game of the Year 2011 is what we're doing today.
It's Game of the Year 2011. This is a pretty good year for video games.
I'll say. I think this is
say.
a great year for video games.
So this would have been getting towards the end of the PlayStation 3 era. We're still a couple years away from the PS4, but like, the PS4 came out in 2013.
This is the heyday of 360 and PS3.
Yes. Yeah. There was a lot of good games coming out, like, and also the beginning of consoles doing digital games. That's sort of where the new hotness was for this era in gaming.
Yeah.
Do you want to go through your first pick? So actually, just to preface, what we're doing is we're picking 3 games each from this year, and then
for our games of the year, our personal list.
Yeah. Like we've got a top 3 each, and then we've got an honorable mention each, and then we're going to decide on what is the game of the year 2011. Kerry, your first pick is.
I'm going to start with my honorable mention.
No. Honorable mention doesn't happen yet.
What? When does honorable mention happen?
When we put up our games for what our game of the year should be.
Why then?
Because it's what you do.
Okay, well, I'll start from the bottom of my top 3 then. Wait, is this the bottom of my top 3 or is this the second of my top 3? Number 1's locked. I've got number 1. Number 1's locked with a bullet, but oh crap! No. Okay, I'm swapping my 2 and 3. So we're starting with what was my 2. And
you can just say like you don't need to actually go on your list and do it because I think we can just listen to what you say.
No, yeah, but I need it. So 3rd on my list, recently demoted from 2nd on my list, is Battlefield 3.
Right. Yep. I expected Battlefield 3 to be in your list.
Yes, Battlefield 3. So this was the year I was in year 10 this year. This was the year I got my own computer. The prior year I got myself a PS3. But this year I was given a computer must have been for my birthday maybe, from my dad and my stepfamily, and it was very generous, and it was a decent rig for like 4 or 5 years ago kind of a thing, and it was in this huge case and it had like light up fans. It was like an incredible custom build for like 2007. If you open that thing now, that thing would look so ancient and crusty, you would not believe the amount of like clear plastic. And so, but it was a really cool case and it was a great machine. I played a lot of GTA 4 on that thing, but I also started getting new games, and one of the ones I was most excited for, these are all games that I was super excited for, actually, all of these top 3. But Battlefield 3 was one of them. I played the beta that came out. I played with some friends of mine. And playing the Battlefield 3 beta, it started with just Operation Metro Rush, and then I think the second weekend or something like that, or like the 3 or 4 days in, something like there was like a second wave where they added another map afterwards, which I think was Caspian Border Conquest. But Operation Metro Rush in the beta, like playing that with my mates from like primary school and some friends from high school, that is like iconic memories for me, where I'm dealing with the like, that's where the infamous long neck glitching through the ground visual bug came from. It was that beta weekend. It hardly happened in the main game. It was just the weekend, and it was and it's seared into my memory, the idea of these very long like giraffe neck soldiers laying down on the ground, so you could like see them because they thought they were in cover, and they were like, their heads were sticking out like way far into the distance. Like, it was so funny. And it was hard to play Operation Metro Rush in the main game. Like, not as many people played, at least on the AU service. Not as many people played that map. You could play Operation Metro Conquest, which is what most people did, and that's where you got the sort of the meat grinder. Like, that was a very hectic, dense, close quarters combat sort of. If you wanted fast-paced battlefield action, that's the map you went to, the one in the subway. But that wasn't the same as the Rush map, and so. But even then, I got the game, and I put so many hours into it. There's something really satisfying about that game that no other game in the franchise, I think, has been able to nail since. And I think a lot of the diehards didn't, from what I understand of the franchise, because I didn't play that much of the games that came before it. Most of the ones that came after, though. A lot of things that I like about Battlefield 3 that I think make it so unique are things like the tone mapping. It's a very blue game. Like, it's
very
got this
blue.
It's too intense. Like, it's a very intense filter on the whole thing. It's this cool blue filter on everything. It's really nuts. But there's also a bunch of like lens flares. There's like, you get like muck on the camera. And then there's a suppression effect that was a big selling point of this game, where it's like, if you get shot at sort of close to you, you don't get hit, but a suppression effect happens where your field of view gets fuzzy, your aim goes to shit, and you need to take cover and your ears start ringing. And I think the idea is like, oh my God, I just dodged death, but like they're shooting at me, and oh my God, like they're trying to simulate that kind of whole thing.
Well,
but I don't know if you remember
that it was also meant to be like a tactic that you could use against the enemy team. Like, the idea of just suppressing fire has never been a thing that's been able to be done much.
Yeah.
And so they were meant to, they were trying to emulate that, because in a video game, when you're being shot at, you just run and hope you don't get hit. But like, you don't do that in real war.
Yeah, and then in like, you could lie down with an LMG and just spray fire down the road and suppress. Yeah. The other thing with this game that was really exciting, part of why I was so excited for it, was because this year I did work experience at a local store in the city called Dungeon Crawl. I don't know if you know Dungeon Crawl, but they were a bargain hunter's paradise in the late 2000s, early 2010s, because as the GFC hit and game prices went, for brand new games, they went up from 100 to like 120. Because of how crap our dollar was and how crap imports were and stuff like that. Dungeon Crawl was great because they imported games from other regions and then sold them at way lower cost. Brand new games as well. Like, I remember you could go there for games that were banned because of R18 ratings back then, because we didn't have one, like Mortal Kombat 9. They were one of the places to go to buy imported copies. And so I did work experience there that year, and one of the things they had behind the counter was a big TV looping a bunch of up-to-date trailers. So for that whole week, I was watching the trailer for Brink, I was watching the trailer for
which is a cool trailer.
Oh, it is a cool trailer. I was also watching the trailers for BioShock Infinite, which included like gameplay and cutscenes, and the first revealed trailer for Battlefield 3, which is a really cool tone piece of one of the campaign levels, but it's also a showcase. I'm going way long on this. I'm sorry, but Battlefield 3 is very important to me. It was a showcase trailer for Frostbite, the engine, and part of what they were showing off was the destruction, because that was a huge deal in Bad Company 1 and 2, and so the reason I'm mentioning it is because that trailer really sets the tone for the whole game, and it plays out in the combat in the multiplayer too. And so it's got a really good balance of weapon progression, customization, unlockability, of stakes and tension. The Battlefield games are probably some of the games I've played single player the most. We're talking about how I don't do that much, but these games I do, because I find you can really go in there and I can work towards something on my own that isn't just like mastery. It's learning the maps and stuff like that, but it's also unlocking gear and getting better with the vehicles. It's a whole thing. So Battlefield 3 was hugely important to me. I put so many hours into that game. And Battlefield 4, while it is the closest to 3, is missing that tone in so many ways. And I think it's because a lot of people didn't love it. They reduced that filter, probably for the best. The suppression mechanic is vastly nerfed because it irritated so many people. That whole lens flare sort of presentation just isn't there. But I think part of that is what makes Battlefield 3 so special. And I think its gunplay is super tight too, in a way that isn't the case in the others as well. So yeah, 3, good.
So massively important to you that you put it third in your list of games from 2011.
This short list of games is like 13 long. I added another one.
I got a big one. Hang on, let me reel it in really quick.
Catch this.
Look, I mean, I remember playing that beta, because I did play that game when it came out. I played it way later, but I remember playing that open beta on the PS3 and thinking this game is really cool. And then I thought, this game doesn't hold a candle to Battlefield Hardline, which was truly the one that everybody really wanted to play. So
that's not what you thought during the beta weekend, though, because Hardline came out 3 years later.
It's also a lie, because that game is bad. Hardline is a bad game. It's bait, Kerry. It's bait.
My man wanted to play cops and robbers.
Yeah. My number 3 is a game which I actually don't know if you've played this or not. It's called To the Moon. Do you know To the Moon?
I might not if I see it. Let me look it up.
To the Moon is a story. It is a narrative adventure puzzle game. It is. Wow. It is it is such a gorgeous game. It is not a super long experience, but it is about it is these two scientists that are hired by this character, and
like Golden Sun pixel art style, but a bit higher res.
Yeah, kinda. But so there's these two scientists that are hired to basically create artificial memories for people who are about to pass. And they do this as a sort of, as a one final thing that they want to do before they die. They want to have these really positive memories. Maybe they didn't have these positive memories, or maybe whatever happened is not quite as happy as what they wanted to do. So they do this as this service that they provide. And then they, to sort of do that, they have to sort of travel through these memories themselves and sort of create these links with this sort of puzzle mechanic type thing. It's been so long since I've actually done the puzzles. It's sort of a little bit like Puyo, but it's not quite like Puyo.
Okay.
And then, but there's an amnesia element as well. If you've ever seen the movie Eternal Sunshine of a Spotless Mind, it is not that story, but it has got similar tones and trappings of that style of reliving past, the idea of regret, the idea of memory, the idea of existing without the thought of something. It is a heart-wrenching game. It is really good, and the ending of it is absolutely you ball up by the end. It is so emotional.
Right.
Can you hear? Kerry?
Ah, sorry. I thought I was hearing like a smoke alarm through my door, but the trailer was just the trailer for the game. I opened the Steam page to look at the game, and it was starting and stopping and buffering, and so it was just this high pitched like whistle that was going like. Boop,
well, I'm glad it's
like,
not a
what
smoke
the
alarm.
fuck is that?
But yeah, this game is such a gorgeous game. Like I remember playing it when it not when it came out, but really soon after it came out, and it's just like it's I've thought about that game so much since. Like I've never gone back and replayed it. Like I'm not against it. I just haven't. I know it got brought to Switch later. But it's such a cool game, and I think they made a second one as well, which I don't actually know anything about.
I was just looking at their collection, like from the developer on the Steam page. They've made like 4 or 5 games in that same style by the looks of it.
Yeah, but it looks like there's 2 that are direct sequels to the first one.
Yeah, there was also To the Moon Beach episode or something like that.
Oh no! It's like it's called Imposter Factory and Finding Paradise.
Yeah.
Beach episode I think was just like an addendum.
Yes.
But yeah, no, To the Moon, really cool game. Really like impressive the way that they sort of like weave in that puzzle with the story, while also telling a really good story with sort of that old fashioned like sort of 16-bit, maybe like 32-bit art style, sort of in between those two. Really cool. Really great game. Really good writing. Great music. Tremendous game. Third best game of the year.
Some would say.
What's your number 2?
Deus Ex Human Revolution.
Right.
I don't necessarily think this game is the best out of all of these games that I might have mentioned that came out this year, but it is my second favorite. This was another game I got from Dungeon Crawl. This was I don't know what it was about the lead up to this game that got me so much. Again, I think the tone of it really struck a chord with me. Although this was not a blue filter so much as a piss yellow filter for this whole game. But I really liked this is probably the first cyberpunk genre piece of media I ever experienced. And so like just the trailers and stuff had me really excited of playing this soldier who, you know, you can upgrade his body and his abilities throughout the game, and then he can punch through walls or he can go invisible, like the
Adam Jensen.
Yeah, exactly. This game's sort of a weird mix because I went to try the original around the same time, and it was so old and so obtuse. I just didn't get it. It was completely beyond me to even try to play more than the first level. But this more modern iteration of what this game was, which included, more modern takes on cinematic storytelling, where it includes this whole like there are these like discussion boss fights, like tense arguments where it's like you got to pick the right thing based on their personality and then the situation, like and also just the voice acting in general and the presentation. I really enjoyed how this game was presented and the storyline of this game, and the world it showed. I think it was really, really, really fascinating and engaging. And like to this day, I don't remember the ending so much because the endings were really rushed. There's like you get to the final thing and it's like you could pick one of 3 buttons, and then you get Adam Jensen monologuing over like historical footage. Like those are the endings. So like I don't remember the endings at all. But the progression of the gameplay and the unraveling sort of layers of deception and the mystery that is solved and through that whole game is really enjoyable. I guess it's also probably one of the games that's closest to an immersive sim that I got into the most. I don't love the genre as a rule. I don't dislike it as a rule either, but it's not like immersive sim means I immediately love it. This game has an interesting mix of, it's less open world and more like open sections, and then you go through each section.
It's kind of like Metal Gear at the time.
Kind of, yeah. Except like instead of chapters 4 and 5 then being like another area, it's like you go to the second area after a big world event has happened, and then there's more public unrest and the police are on high alert and stuff like that. And a similar thing in the for like the third area that you go to. Anyway, that game was really, really engrossing for me, and I think its level design is actually really, really strong too. For like, you know, you've got the open world sections where it's like about exploring, and then you can go read people's emails and explore the police center and sneak around into the offices and do all of that. And then they would have these bespoke, not linear, but basically linear actual levels where it was less about like you exploring the whole world and then there's like people and places that you go and revisit. These were more like, oh, I have to infiltrate this warehouse now, and that's where this thing happens. Like that, they were these story missions basically, but they were wider. They had vents that you could sneak through, or you could take them on head on, or you could go and hack the security turrets so you could turn them on your enemies. Like none of it is like groundbreaking stuff on its own, but I think the way they brought it all together and made each of the paths interesting, I think was really captivating. I really, really enjoyed it as a 16-year-old me.
Did Warren Spector write that one, or did he only do the?
No.
Did he only do the first one?
I think maybe he didn't. I'll quickly look up his credits here. Yeah, he has no credits for that one.
Right.
Around that time, he was too busy working on the sequel to Epic Mickey.
Right. Okay.
He was working on Epic Mickey 2.
Cool. I didn't know he worked on those games.
He was creative director of the first game.
Sick. The writer of Human Revolution is Mary DeMarle, who worked on some cool. Oh, these are cool games. Myst 3 and 4, Homeworld 2, Deus Ex, Human Revolution, and Mankind Divided, and also Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, okay, cool.
And then joined BioWare since 2022.
But no credits for Dragon Age Inquisition?
No, I reckon should be on Mass Effect then.
Yeah. Yeah, surely.
Which makes sense. Not, like looking at her her history, there's a lot of science fiction here.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, right.
Cool. Yeah, that game is good. It's not spectacular. Like again, if I wanted this to be solely about quality, I don't think it would make the top 3 here. But I do think I enjoy it more than other games that didn't make my list here, like Uncharted 3, like Skyrim, like Minecraft, like games that are sort of universally praised as some of the greatest games of all time, and rightfully so. I just don't enjoy them as much as that.
Yeah. My number 2 is Portal 2.
Nice.
Yeah. Banger. It's a fucking
strong
banger.
Pick.
Like, it's hard to say something about Portal 2 that hasn't already been said. But like, what a exciting, like, incredible sequel. Funny, great gameplay, co-op multiplayer the size of, like a full release game that is separate to the full game.
With incredible features. Like they had that whole split screen mechanic in there. So not split screen, but the companion camera where you hold tab and you can see what your partner's seeing.
And split screen. It had split screen on console, I believe.
It did have split screen on console. That's true. Just PS3. Although then PS3. 360 came later.
Right. Like, talk about leaving you wanting more. Like, it's just like just an incredibly paced, incredibly well written game.
Excellent iteration of the first ideas too.
Yeah. And also like technically exciting to look at and to engage with. Like all of the new stuff feels like it could have been in the first game. Like you know how like I will often refer to Isabelle as from Animal Crossing as what feels like a classic Nintendo character who feels like she could have been there from the first Animal Crossing. All of the new stuff in Portal 2 feels like it could have been in Portal 1, and it wouldn't feel like it's, Portal 1 plus.
Out of place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cave Johnson, great. J.K. Simmons, tremendous. Voice acting. GLaDOS, great in it.
Stephen Merchant as Wheatley.
Yeah, Steve Merchant's good as well. I don't know.
Potatoes.
It's just a great game.
It is. And you know, the level design is also spectacular. I can still remember, like, I haven't replayed that game very much at all.
Yeah,
I can still remember several of the levels.
Yeah.
If not the specific solutions, at least the rooms and the type of puzzle. Oh, I know they had a laser one in here, and this was where they introduced the gel, and like it's so memorable, and it's well past time for a replay. I think that game is absolutely iconic.
Yeah. Yeah, like, I mean, honestly, I don't have a whole lot more to say about it aside from like the last great. I was going to say the last great Valve game. But
Alex was.
But great. Alex came out, and yeah, it's kind of in its own
Didn't play
area.
that.
But like, yeah, like the last traditional Valve game, it feels like.
Yeah.
People like Deadlock. I've not played Deadlock.
Yeah, and Counter-Strike Global Offensive and Counter-Strike 2, they are traditional Valve games in a way.
Did CSGO come out after this?
Yeah, CSGO was like 2014, 2015.
Oh, okay. In my mind, it was earlier. Right. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, before that was Counter-Strike Source.
Yeah.
And I remember, so Portal 2 is my number one pick. There was so much hype and buzz around this game's release. And part of that was, oh gosh, it was so many things. Part of it was that it was this graphical step up for what the Source Engine could do. A lot of people were, at the time, I remember speculating whether is this Source Engine 2? Like, there was a lot of hubbub about it. Do you remember the release for the game on Steam for Portal 2?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Do you remember how there was an ARG that was happening in the weeks leading up to the game's release?
Kinda. I remember reading about it on Reddit while it was happening, but I was not like participating with it.
I
didn't have a PC at that time, and so I was getting it on the PS. Well, I was just going to get the game on PS3.
Yeah. So there was this ARG that was going on where if you played some of Steam's biggest indie hits, basically, some of Steam's biggest success games of the last 2 or 3 years, the more people that had played those games and had them running during this sort of 2-week lead up period to Portal 2's release, if enough people played those games, I remember there was this weird, it was like a Steam forum page or like a bespoke website or something like that, where it was measuring how many people were playing, or it had its own like unique currency, I think, that was generated for more people playing a certain game. And if enough people played that game, it generated, like, I think they were potatoes.
Right.
And it's like, if you had enough potatoes for this game, it like filled the bar for that game, for like Bit Trip Runner and Super Meat Boy, I think Magica, but maybe not. But indie games like that, iconic Steam games. Pardon?
Trine.
Yeah, maybe Trine. Yeah, exactly. So the idea was, if you ran all those games long enough, it would bring the release date of the game closer. And so I was watching this like a hawk, because I'd shown Sam, and at this point, we weren't even together 2 years at this point, but I'd shown Sam the first Portal, and they loved it, and I loved it, and that game's incredible. And I was like, oh, the second game's coming out, it's got co-op. And so we bought you could buy a duo pack for the game, and it discounted both the copies. And so Sam made a Steam account specifically for me to gift them the second account so we could play the game co-op together when it came out. But it was coming out during the school holidays, first school holidays that year in April, I think. And I was desperately trying to like we were like busy this part of that week of the holidays, but we had this day together, and it was like right on the cusp of when this ARG was going to make the game unlock. And so we were hanging out all day, and every like hour or two I'd go up and I'd check and I'd see, has it released yet? And I was like, oh, not yet, it's so close, and I don't know. And it ended up being that it released the next day, but I was checking it every hour or two all day to see if we could jump on and play this game together. And in the end, it didn't end up happening. And like, we made it happen like 3 days later. But it was this whole culmination of like this game I've been so excited for, and then like we're excited for it together, and we've got these copies for the game. And so I had my own computer at that point, and I set up the family iMac on the other side of the desk so we could both run it together, and it could barely run it, but it did run it. And we had to get a second mouse because the iMac mouse that came with it didn't have a right click, and you need left and right click for Portal. And it was this whole thing, and it was all going to work out, and then it didn't come out on that day, and I was like, oh, it was so close to perfect. It's this whole build up. So that's part of why that game is so special to me. But then on top of that, it is everything you said before.
Yeah, it's a 10.
Yeah, it is. It's an all-time classic. The first one is, the only problem with the first one is that it's like a demo. It's like a pet project. It's a neat thing. Like, it's a perfect part of what it is, but I just wish it was more. It's over so soon. And the second one is everything you could have wanted, from the full realization of the mechanics of that game, the setting of that game, and what that game looks like if you take it through a full linear campaign, and you see all of these different types of puzzles and mechanics that just weren't a thing in the first one. It's so fun and exciting, and it's such a classic. It's just an all-timer.
Yep. It's Alan Wake 1 and Alan Wake 2. It's what that is.
No.
Yeah, it is.
No, because those games, Alan Wake 2 is not a 10.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, the fuck it is.
The gameplay is far, far, far away from being as refined as Portal 2 is. I hear you that it is excellently executed, but it is nowhere near as refined and excellent, like pristine, as Portal 2.
It doesn't matter. It's still a 10. Like, it is also a 10. They're both 10s. They're both 10s.
Disagree, but that's okay.
They are both medium pushing experiences. That's what.
Yes, I will agree. I will agree with that.
Which is what makes them 10s. 10 does not mean without flaw. 10 does not mean without flaw. 10 means it's just a 10.
Yeah, but for me, the amount of flaws with 2 is sizable. That game's like an 8 for me.
Yeah, I know, but that game is like a high 9 for most people.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, my number one is also a 10, which is Minecraft.
Oh, interesting. Please, go on.
I was gonna say it's a generation defining game. It's realistically it's more than that. Like, it's a medium defining game.
Well, see, yes, it is definitely medium defining. But when you said generation defining just then, my brain went to like a generation of people, not a generation of consoles.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Like that's the kind of generation defining it is. Like, it's generation defining for people of our age, and then like 10 years younger.
But honestly,
actually maybe more like 15 years younger, and then it has persisted all the way through.
But also it has then reached heights for people that are then older as well. Like, it has reached,
yes, totally, like not limited
beyond that. Yes. Yeah. Like in a sense that like Fortnite, I think, is probably never going to get older than our age, in terms of it's never going to reach a new audience of people that are older than us.
Yeah, it's probably going to struggle to bring in the kids the same way it used to.
No. I mean, as in, it's not going to go for people that are in their mid 30s and late 30s. Whereas it will continue to bring in younger.
Well, I mean, they're constantly bringing in things like, older properties like Ghostbusters and Back to the Future, and
yeah, but they're not old. They're not bringing back like Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd. It's like the new kids, is what I mean. Like, it's because those properties are new again.
It was Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd, wasn't it?
Surely not. Like they bring those properties in when they're new again, because it's part of a marketing machine for a new movie. Like, it'll be the kid. It might be one of the characters that's in the new movies, but it's like, we're not getting, OG Tron. We got Jared Leto.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, you're right. Actually, general Ghostbusters, like Fortnite characters in Ghostbuster skins.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because they can only put that kid from Fortnite in a different Ghostbusters outfit so many times. Yeah, so like it's Minecraft, you know, like it's fucking Minecraft, man. Like it's just one of those games. Like
when did you start playing it? At what point? Because I think I started playing it in 2010.
Yeah, I think I probably started in 2010, maybe 2009. Like whenever the alpha turned into the beta is when I started.
Okay, I see.
So that like it was the beginning of them doing the survival thing. So it was the beginning of
well, they added hunger properly experience around that time, right?
Yeah, like 1.0 added hunger experience levels and then the ending. Like it did like the end dragon stuff. But like before that was you know, like growing crops, it was the fishing, it was cooking, and it was
then at some point there was the Nether update.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
That was when that was when I started to play it. Back when every time you loaded up a new game, you spawned on sand, no matter what, because it was the safest place to spawn a new character without you hitting something else.
There's something so nostalgic about the world generation of like the later alpha builds and the early beta builds.
And the lighting too. Like the lighting was harsher, but it's a different vibe now in Minecraft. It feels like a different entity. It is the Minecraft ship of Theseus is it feels different. It was the game for so long and has continued to be so much.
What did that look like for you as young Jeremy? What did young Jeremy do in Minecraft? What did you get out of it? What did you do? Because like Minecraft was, you know, it is so open. Were you creative with it? Were you trying to be adventurous and get full diamond armor? Were you playing with mates? Like, what was the go?
I wasn't playing multiplayer because none of us really knew how to port forward back then. And like, you know,
I still don't know how to port forward.
Well, like, but what is it? Everybody's routers back then when you're that young, and like, I don't have any older siblings, especially. So it was just whatever like the ISP would provide you. I would just play solo most of the time. It was like it would just be doing whatever. I couldn't tell you what I would do aside from I would just like mine and craft. Like I would just dig forever and make like a really big mine, and I'd get some resources and I would build a building, and I would do like I would play with the maps a lot. I would get dogs. I would build a house for the dogs. This is pre-villages, so like I wasn't even engaging in those. I would explore. I would spend hundreds and hundreds of hours just being in that world. It was sort of the first one of those, I think, for me. Like I would, you know, I didn't play WoW, but like I'd play like Pokemon, and I would play, you know, other games, not games nearly as open sort of before then. Like I didn't.
It's hard to think of if there really were games that were anything like this, really, in terms of this open when this game came out. Like,
yeah, like not really. Like, you know, like there was people get similar feelings from like Skyrim and stuff, and similar feelings.
Or like Daggerfall or Oblivion before that.
Yeah, and you know, like in some instances, Diablo is kind of like that. You know, where you've got like infinite dungeons and the older RPGs that also had randomly generated zones and stuff. But like the forever open world generation of Minecraft was such an exciting thing, and also it was a game that like my parents didn't give a shit about nearly as much because it was like a non-violent thing. It didn't look realistic. There wasn't guns, you know, in an era where I was, you know, playing Halo and Call of Duty and stuff, and in an era when I wasn't allowed to play Grand Theft Auto, I would play Minecraft, and it was like they would be like, oh cool, okay, fine, like go for it. Fucking banger.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's incredible. And it's so cool to see how like its legacy. Like it was one of those, not quite Pokemon Go levels, because that was next level. That was a literal phenomenon. But it was akin to that, at least for its for its time. Just the reach it had. I think it was incredible how approachable it was in terms of its price point, especially in the beta period. Like you could buy for like $20 during the beta, and it's always been accessible to price since then, like $40 or something, full price. But yeah, the appeal is so broad, and there's so many things you can do with it, and it is lasted and lasted and lasted all this time. Like it's still getting regular updates, and I've actually no idea what the community and the player base for that game is like these days in terms of how active it is. Like, I mean, it's not like Fortnite where it's like, oh, it's hard to get on a server these days. Like Minecraft's not like that, so it's so hard to know whether. I mean, they're still updating it, so people still must be still playing it, but. And the modding scene is so next worldly. Like
Yeah.
it's so huge. So like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm just saying I don't have a good grasp of what the current Minecraft scene is these days, but
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what this
pretty
website.
Robust.
Yeah, like I don't know what this website is. I've not been on it before, but it is called activeplayer.io. And they seem to have numbers. Looks like they have 13 million daily players and 62 million monthly players.
That's crazy.
Again, I don't know where these stats are coming from.
That's bonkers.
It's number 2 on Twitch right now. So, well, yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I loved playing that game, so it didn't make my list. It was on my short list. And I played that game heaps when it was new. I don't think I've ever enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed it when I was playing it pre 1.0. I think that's just because I like the exploration. I liked like staking my claim on an area and then like, you know, building storage and lighting up a zone and maybe putting fences up and stairs maybe. And then just like making my own tunnels. But I never had much ambition to build my own structures that much in that game. So it was more a thing of like adventuring, going down to the deepest depths, maybe finding diamond. For the longest time, for years, I never found diamond. There was a lot of iron and steel. But yeah, that was the exciting stuff for me, the adventuring. And then, you know, the nether stuff rolled out and the end stuff rolled out. And so I did that stuff eventually, but it was so piecemeal. And then it was kind of like, that's it. You've done the adventure. And I'm like...
The end is crap. Like, it's such a shit. Like, yeah. I can't believe they haven't changed it since.
Yeah.
Like, it's so bad. And it's got, like, long crap credits. Like
the credits are crap, yeah.
Like, it's got, like, this long story bit at the end where it's like...
It was like, we need to make this 1.0 in, like, 4 weeks.
Like, yeah, it was weird.
So I guess I've never really enjoyed it that much because I feel like the adventure is still the same for me. Like because what I got out of it was the adventure. I feel like the adventure is similar enough each time where it's like you go into caves and you deal with skeletons and zombies and a creeper and then you trace your way back with torches and like, you know, I could probably play it differently, but that's how I like to play it. And then that's how I've always played it. And that's I've kind of done it, I guess. So, like, the way I experience that game isn't as everlasting as other people do experience it.
Mm-hmm. Before we get to the honorable mentions, a quick rundown of what happened in 2011. It's a really quick rundown.
I forgot about this bit.
Because not a whole lot happens in 2011. So, 2011, in February to March, depending on which region you're in, the Nintendo 3DS releases.
Oh.
Yep. Feb, Japan, March, America, Europe, Australia.
I remember some older kids in the music department showing me they're like, oh, check out this 3DS. I'm like, oh, cool. And they showed me the 3D effect. I'm like, this is weird. And then I never saw that thing again.
Yep. April to May, however, for 24 days, which is 3 weeks and 3 days, the PlayStation Network was down.
Yes, I remember this.
As someone who had a PS3 at that moment, weird timing.
Yeah.
Weird time. Yep. It was like a weird,
I saw the headline and I had to go talk to my dad. I was like, Dad, I think because you helped me buy the Assassin's Creed 2 expansion episodes I think your credit card was linked to my account. It may have been compromised. I needed to let you know that.
That's funny. Just like as far as I think it's ever been reported, no credit card details were actually. There was no theft of credit card details as a part of this hack.
I think early on they hadn't confirmed that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In June,
God, it was down for so long. It was down for so long, and it was huge.
But it also feels like if something was down for 3 weeks now, you know, like obviously, like if PlayStation was down for 3 weeks now, that's a massive story. But if a service is down for 3 weeks now, that almost doesn't feel like quite as long a time as what it felt like at the time. I think
I thought it was 3 months.
Yeah, so did I. Turns out it wasn't.
I remember I'd get home to my dad's and I'd turn the PlayStation on and I would check whether I could log in, and I still couldn't. I'd be like, this is still going.
Yeah. Yep.
Crazy.
In June of 2011, Twitch.tv launched.
Oh, wow. That's wild, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really wild.
Which part of it was Justin TV? What was Justin.tv?
That was like, it was the predecessor, but it was like I think Justin the guy had left by that point.
Okay.
I don't actually know the story, but like, yeah, they were like Justin TV, like I think span off Twitch, because Justin TV I think was meant to be like in-person live streaming and Twitch was meant to be the gaming part of it or something. But then they both
Justin.tv moved its gaming section to a new site called Twitch.tv in June 2011.
Yeah.
And the parent company of Twitch.tv and Justin.tv rebranded as Twitch Interactive in February 2014. Justin.tv services and brand were officially shut down in August 2014 so that the company could focus on Twitch, which was then acquired by Amazon later that month.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
And then in October, 2 things happened. Steve Jobs died, which is, as far as I can tell, the only like notable gaming adjacent person who has a death as of 2011, according to Wikipedia. The other one being Randy Savage, which is so funny.
I guess because he was in the games.
Well, because he was in the wrestling games, I guess.
Yeah.
But in October, the very first EB Games Expo took place in the Gold Coast as well, which is just kind of a funny one for the Australians listening.
Funny. That is funny.
And that's it. That's 2011. That's it.
In terms of gaming history?
Yeah, I mean, like there was an E3, there was a Spike TV Game Awards, there was a Thingo, there was a GDC, but like,
I think that year's E3 was, I remember there was the year, I think, of the God of War 3 E3 trailers and like demos. I remember trolling IGN's page and they had a whole thing. It was just, that was when they still had the like on stage, like 10-minute demos, and IGN would like have the devs come through and post them and stuff like that. And then at the end of that weekend, Dead came through as like, our internet usage is too high. What have you been doing this weekend? And I was like, I've just been watching like trailers. And he's like all weekend? I'm like, yeah. He's like, yeah, you can't do that. We had like 30 gig for the month or something, and I used like 15 or like 10 in the weekend, and it was like we got to get through the next 20 days.
The Last of Us was announced in 2011 as well. I remember at the end.
The Last of Us, that game was like, I didn't hear about it until it was out. I didn't know what that game was until it was out, and then people were talking about it, and I still didn't know what it was, and I didn't look it up.
Yeah, right. I had
at some point I figured out what it was, but it was late.
I had the Joel edition of that game pre-ordered.
All right. What does that get you? The watch?
No, it got you like a shitty like canvas.
Did you get a flanny?
No. It gives you a shitty canvas like pack thing that has got like a book,
a survival bag.
Yeah, but it wasn't even that. It was just like Velcro that folds and Velcro and that unfolds, and like the game. It was really bad. It was really bad.
Velcro folds and unfolds.
Yeah. It was shithouse.
Like the Fallout 76 canvas. Yeah. Vault edition bag.
What's your honorable mention?
Dark Souls.
Fair. It's actually not even mine. I didn't put it on the list. Oh.
So my honorable mention is Dark Souls.
Yes, which is not on my list at all.
It's not on your list at all. So I didn't think it would be, because when you, for the first time not that long ago, you demolished it like drunkenly in like 3 sittings or something. And or maybe you weren't drunk the whole time, but you just washed through that game, and then you were like, yeah, that was all right. And I'm like, what what about this moment and this and this? And you're like, wait, who was that? So I'm not surprised it maybe didn't have that much of an impact on you, but
like, I know that game's really good and special and stuff. Like, it's just, it wasn't my top compared to the ones that were my top.
I think that's very fair. For me, the thing that I'm pushed and pulled between with this game is, I think it's maybe some of the best world design that FromSoft have done, maybe up until Elden Ring for me. Now, that said, I haven't played Sekiro or 3 or Bloodborne. So, there's a few...
Well, compared to Dark Souls 2...
ingredients in there. Oh, man, it's so much better than Dark Souls 2. But specifically, like, the level design of the world, like how you explore the different areas and how they all link together is really special. And they don't really do it like that ever again. But part of what's dragging me back on this is I played that game. I think the PC port came out the following year, and I did buy it around that time, and I played it with a mate of mine. I was trying to play it with a mate of mine, and he just wasn't really that interested, but he wasn't telling me that to my face. So I was constantly bugging him to like play with me, because I didn't want to play it on my own, but I thought we could do it together. And he really wasn't interested, but he just should have told me as much. I bugged him for so long. Anyway, that is Dark Souls has one of the worst PC ports of all time.
Yeah.
Like, hands down. It is horrendous. So the tutorial messages on the ground that you read, they are all for gamepad. They didn't translate those to the keyboard and mouse controls. The keyboard and mouse controls are arcane. They are so backwards. You couldn't have any of the PC graphics customization options. Like, it ran at 720p maximum for some reason. Like, there are so many ways that game on PC is just the worst way to play it. It is much better now with the remaster. It is sort of up to par. So not only was it a really bad first experience for me with that game, I got through Undead Burg. I don't think I quite got to the gargoyles, but I think I got to Andre's bonfire, which is near the gargoyle. So I got through a bit, but I didn't really get it. I just sort of felt like I brute forced it. I didn't really understand it. I didn't really enjoy it. I was fighting. I had to modify the hell out of the game to make it work. So that first experience really drags it down for me in terms of that. But also, I think this is one of the games that has aged the worst in recent memory that I can think of. Like, you look at it out and it looks really rough. Like, it's somehow, like, it's kind of got, like, it's really hard to describe, because even if you're running it on PC, even if you're running it on PS5 with remaster, it still looks like you're looking at it through like smeary 360 goggles. And I mean that in a bad way. Like I mean that in an unflattering, not positive way.
Well, like, as someone who played it via the remaster only, I think the smeariness isn't actually there. The problem is like what is then shown to you, which is like, especially in the last chunk, is like, it's mostly like really flat lighting, repeating textures, enemies just sort of placed willy-nilly, like all of the good stuff in the beginning of the game, which is like this bespoke built thing. And like, you know, we know a little bit about the development of that game, how it was sort of really thrown together at the last part because they sort of apparently built that game like in order. Like the last chunk of that game is really rough. And leaves a funny taste in your mouth. Getting there is still exciting and is still fun and it is still engaging. But like, I think also now since then, having played Demon Souls, like I can see how much of Dark Souls was actually just in Demon Souls. And that's not to say that it's not great in Dark Souls, but it was also great in Demon Souls. Just fewer people played Demon Souls.
Totally.
So it's kind of not on my list for that reason. But I've also just always been a like Souls offshoot fan more than a Dark Souls fan. So
yeah, that's fair. My appreciation for Dark Souls has matured as I have. So you know, it is something I grew into over time and over many years, and sort of also after seeing other people like, oh, that's what they're getting out of this. Okay, I could get with this, and then I played it. But yeah, it's so funny. Because it's a classic, but it looks not great. But also like it's not awful, but also like it played so bad the first time. It's in such a weird spot. So that's why it's one of my honorable mentions. I do think it should be higher, but there are a lot of things bringing it down.
My
What's your honorable mention?
Is Batman Arkham City.
Oh, hell yeah.
This game
Go on.
Is so fucking good. Like, it is so good. It's the best in the series. Yeah. It's not really close. Like, Arkham Asylum is second. That game is cool. It is the first one of those that they made. And so they learned lessons that they repeated and learned lessons that they decided not to repeat when they did Arkham City. And Arkham City kind of just nails everything. Like, the world feels great, incredible Batman story, incredible gadgets, a lot of really good performances, a lot of like twists and turns, and like a meaty Batman story. There's so many like facets to it with the Hugo Strange stuff and the Joker stuff and all the like the other like side villain things in the Mr. Freeze section and what Catwoman's doing through all of the game. Even the Riddler trophies. Like I not only 100%ed that game, I've 100%ed that game maybe 4 times. Like
seriously?
Yeah, like every maybe like 5 or 6 years, I go back and just play through it all again. Maybe 4 years. Like I 100%ed it twice on PS3 when it came out because I did the New Game Plus. But like since then I've gone back on PC and played it again and it's like I don't have to look anything up. Like I can just figure it all out each time, and it's a blast all the way through. They made a lot of unforced errors with Arkham Knight, which are known. And Arkham Origins was a middling version of a game that was already great. With, you know, some interesting things in there, but like just Arkham City was just awesome. It looked great too. They had NVIDIA PhysX on the cape, and oh boy, did it make a great difference. Cape looked great as it flaps in the wind.
As it gets tattered throughout the night, as Bruce gets sicker and sicker and more beat up.
It's just an awesome game. I think it's probably for my money. It's probably the best superhero game. Like, I think it just clears.
So, what about Arkham City means that it's your honorable mention and doesn't clear above To the Moon and Portal and Minecraft?
They're just better. Like, I don't know, like they're just kind of like they just kind of have they've all had a bigger impact, I think, either on me or the industry or the genres. Arkham City has had an impact on that genre of game. Like, for the most part, we've never been able to leave that style of combat for superhero games, for better or worse, and kind of for worse, I think a little bit. Like the only one that kind of really managed to take a step away was the Guardians of the Galaxy and Avengers games, but like Avengers, its own thing. Guardians did well to not feel like I was just doing like the Arkham stuff, but like I think maybe I don't know how you fix it, but like I think it's kind of a bummer that Spider-Man's combat has basically just been Batman's combat, and I'm apprehensive that the Wolverine game is not going to do that again. So like,
I think the Wolverine game's probably going to feel more like God of War. Just looking at it,
maybe, yeah.
Like the new God of War specifically.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, like I think that like the Arkham games set a narrative. Set a standard for I guess superhero games combat and also superhero games narrative. That like it is very clear that Spider-Man is an inspiration. Is inspired by Arkham, specifically City, which I think is like it's a good inspiration to have, honestly.
Yeah, that game does get it right. I've never gone back to playing it after like playing it at my cousin's house way back when that game was new, and because we got through like 4/5 of that game in a weekend, and then like I stopped visiting them that time, and then I never went back to it really. But I remember it being a fun time.
It's got a great ending.
I think I've seen it online in the past. It hasn't stuck with me much. But I think the Arkham games I've spent the most time with and enjoyed the most is Asylum, because I did play Night a few years ago and it was fine. It was just I didn't really stick with me that much. It just was what it was.
Like driving the Batmobile all the time.
It was fine.
It's
some of the missions were like too long.
Oh my god! Like, but yeah, there's so much Batmobile in that game. It's too much. It's bad.
Yeah. So that means your list is honorable mention, Arkham City, and then To the Moon, Portal 2, Minecraft.
I had one additional honorable mention, which was the Daytona USA version for the 360, because there's a whole lineage about the development and subsequent releases of Daytona, and Is
this where your love for Daytona comes from?
Yeah. And
right.
Daytona 360 is the closest you can get to the arcade machine without owning an arcade machine. And all of the ones prior to it were like really poor. And then they properly did it for the 360. And that's why that one is the best.
Okay, cool. Man, I had so many games from this year that I played and loved and were on my shortlist for like good games that I enjoyed, but just didn't make there's so many here.
Yeah.
Like Saints Row the Third.
Yeah, that was on my list.
Skyrim, Minecraft.
Yeah.
Skyward Sword, Uncharted 3. Some of the others are just here. Like Binding of Isaac's first release was that year. Like first physical non-Flash game release, I think. But
even Modern Warfare 3 I liked a lot.
Strong year. Oh yeah, Modern Warfare 3, yeah. And just playing that year, like that would have been the year that we were playing Ops the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, because that game came out end of the previous year.
So, what's your pick
for Minimap's Game of the Year 2011? Battlefield. No, it's Portal 2.
Okay.
What's your pick?
Minecraft.
Interesting.
I don't know if it can't not be Minecraft.
See, the thing is, though, it's Portal 2.
Portal 2 is a tremendous video game. It is a 10.
It is a 10. It's like I said before when I said pristine, like I think that's the most accurate descriptor I have for that game. Like it's not just a matter of like, oh, I can't fault it. Like, because I probably could if I played it more recently.
Yeah. Like it is not perfect in the sense that like there is nearly no games that are perfect.
Yeah, but it's also a fact of mechanically, narratively, aesthetically, design wise, like it is so cohesive in a way that Minecraft definitely isn't. Minecraft is very patchy.
Well,
But
one
I think
1.0
I think that
Minecraft.
focus and that vision of Portal 2 and the execution of that focus and that vision is part of what makes it so strong.
I do agree with all of that, but I think Minecraft back then was not nearly as patchy as what it is now. Now it is complicated, and it is.
That's true.
It is obtuse in a lot of ways. A lot of the obtuseness has come subsequently. Like there was moments of obtuseness in Minecraft at that time. It was the beginning of some of that stuff, but the game was a lot simpler than even though it still had hunger and it had like it was the beginning of some of the RPG elements. Like it had levels at that point, but that was about it. The game itself, for what it did for its impact on games, even at that moment, like not even thinking about what comes later, I think was already known and was like shown.
Yes.
And I think
it was huge pre-release and continued to be, it got bigger and bigger. Yeah. Well.
And I think that like its longevity and its like it's ways of engaging at like a style of play that hadn't properly really been done before is kind of there are very few games I think I wouldn't be able to put. Like there are very few games I could put above Minecraft. There are some, but there are not many that I think could actually top Minecraft in its like dedication to a time and a place in a year. I think that like its release, I think is fairly arbitrary. Like I think that its 1.0 doesn't necessarily feel like it's 1.0. Like it doesn't matter as much. They needed a date. They need to get out of beta. They need to be able to get into storefronts. That's fine. But
the thing with
at the
it,
time,
though, is it is the only reason we're talking about it in this year and not the prior ones. Because I played far more Minecraft in 2010 than I did in 2011.
Sure. But I think that if we watched the Game Awards and Minecraft was up for 2011, we wouldn't be looking at that saying, "Hey, it should have been 2010," but like they don't allow pre-release games. Like
no, this is the year it came out.
Yeah. And I think like it's just one of those things. Like I think that Portal 2 has got the unfortunateness of being released in the same year as Minecraft that I like. There are very few games for my money I think would be able to top Minecraft as a game that belongs on a list of the best games of the year. What Portal 2 did though, like which I do remember being phenomenal, was I remember it was engaging kids at my school that were not puzzle people. Like they were not puzzle gamers. They all they would do was play.
Say Portal 2 did this.
Yeah. Like Portal 2 was engaging them who they only play Fallout, play FIFA and play, Call of Duty. I remember Portal 2 engaging them, but I also remember then
definitely
Minecraft was then overtaking even people that don't play games. Like Minecraft was doing one of those like, it's getting into the hands of, it is breaking containment. It is making it's on the news. It's parents are going to the shops and saying, "Hey, my kid wants a toy." Like it was pushing beyond all of that. That's sort of my case with it. And like, I think also like the other case that I've got with it, that like you and I still have a nostalgia for that original version of Minecraft. But when we're playing new Minecraft, which we have occasionally, like, for like, we'll have one of those like once every 15 months, someone will run a server for a month.
Yeah.
It's still a game that's got more to give in that time. And the stuff that it's got more to give is not necessarily the stuff that's come recently. It's the stuff that was good back then. It's that core game part of it. It's the loop. It's the mining. It's the crafting. It's the building. It's exploration. And it's got like since then it has been adjusted and reshaped, but like the vibe of Minecraft is still kind of there. When you join a new game, you're still just going to be going straight to the nearest tree, punching the tree, turning the tree into sticks, and blah blah blah, and go from there. That was around back then. That was the thing.
Yeah.
It's almost impossible to compare them because one is an extraordinarily different, timeless thing, and the other one is
because I'm sitting here thinking about like Portal 2's virtues, right, and how singular it is. Like every moment of that game is paced and designed and curated and authored, and Minecraft is one of the I don't think this is quite accurate to say it this way, but I've thought of it, so I'm going to say it out loud now. It's one of the least authored games, just in the sense that it's which is I say that I'm like that doesn't make any sense because it was made by people, but it is a sandbox. Yeah, they give you the tools and the mechanics to go out there and do what you want, however you want, in a randomized world that they've created. I think for me, over the years, like just something I know about myself, I appreciate a story. I appreciate a narrative. Portal 2's is one of, I don't know if it's one of the best, but it's great. It's a great story.
Yeah.
It definitely is worthy of the game it's in. It doesn't hold it back. I would say.
No.
It's maybe not like all-time memorable kind of stuff, but it's still very good, and it has great moments that are quite memorable. Yeah, I think when I think of some of the best games I've played, the games that stick out for me are games that have excellent pacing.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, that looks like Uncharted 2. It looks like honestly, Breath of the Wild. I think its pacing is pretty. It narratively is very off, mechanically and in terms of gameplay elements.
It's got session pacing. It doesn't have like menu to credits pacing.
No, definitely not. But yeah, pacing is a strong. It's an important factor for me for how much I will enjoy a game. And so comparing Portal 2 and Minecraft in terms of pacing, it's not even close. You know what I mean? Like Minecraft, because that's just not what that game is about. It's not about A to Z or A to B. Like it's not about that until it was, because they put in the end. But even then, like you said before, the ending's not even that great.
It's never been a thing that people are really excited to go and do.
No, it's like an arbitrary target for speedrunners or whatever, or it's just like the next thing you can tackle if you want an objective. So when you compare that to Portal 2, like for me, it's just like Portal 2 is such a tight package. It is so focused and it is so well executed. Like in everything it sets out to do, I think it excels.
However, it owes a majority of its laurels to Portal 1.
What do you mean by that? You mean we cannot judge Portal 2's not flaws. We cannot like give Portal 2 its dues for the parts of the game that were brought forward from the first game?
No, what I'm saying is that the like the movement pushing, industry defining aspects of Portal 2 are in Portal 1. Portal 2 executes on taking Portal 1 and putting a great story in it, and co-op, and some new mechanics. But the brilliance of Portal 2 is also the brilliance of Portal 1. with new levels and, you know, additional settings and stuff. But like if this is partly what I meant by it's Alan Wake 1 and Alan Wake 2, where it's like the fundamental brilliance of Alan Wake 2 is also in 1. It's core mechanics, the, you know, holding a torch out, firing the gun, survival mechanics. And then what Alan Wake 2 does is it takes it to the next level and then, you know, does this wild meta story that it could only do, you know, 10 years later, blah, blah, blah. I think Portal 2 is very similar in that regard, where it's like the core game has actually been designed because it is a sequel. It is, but it is not like
built up from a foundation.
Yeah, but like in the same way that I think you can give a game like Helldivers 2 its own laurels because it's certainly not built off Helldivers 1. And so like I think that like, you know, like of course there are shared mechanics, but like it's, you know, it's a vastly different game. Whereas a lot of the stuff in Minecraft was like not brand new, but was new to the like new to the masses, was engaging a different type of audience, but also is quite singular onto itself, much like Portal 1.
See, the thing is, while Portal 2 isn't singular because it's literally a sequel, there is nothing like Portal full stop. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. Like, and like, I don't think that's a negative on Portal 2's account. It's not a detractor from Portal 2, but it is a, you know, you can't.
It sounds like you're kind of using it as a detractor.
No. But like, it's not that it's. I'm not bringing Portal 2 down at all. It's just like you can't play the first Portal again. You can't play Half-Life. You can't play Halo 1 again. You know, like it's not that it didn't innovate enough. It is fundamentally impossible for it to innovate enough. And when a game like Minecraft comes out in that same year, I'm saying that there is a cap that a sequel kind of can reach. And I think that there are very few games that reach the cap that Portal 2 reaches. In terms of like a sequel, I think like the only ones I can think of is like Baldur's Gate 3. Like I think Alan Wake 2 is almost there, but maybe not. I think that you could make a case for one of the Halos potentially. Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 4.
Yeah.
But I think that you wouldn't be able to compare Uncharted 4 to The Last of Us 1, for example. It's just not different enough. It is impossible for it to be a new and fresh and exciting thing that changes the way we look at an industry or the way an industry is able to react to a thing. Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild are the exact same thing. We both agree that Tears of the Kingdom is a tremendous game, and it is just never going to be more special than Breath of the Wild. It's just not going to be.
Yeah, even if it is maybe better.
Even if it is better.
Yeah.
And I think that Portal 2 is in an unfortunate position on its own, that it is unable to not be the sequel to Portal. A game that you shouldn't be able to make a good sequel to, and they did it, and it is incredible. And the
thing is, I don't think of Portal 2 as less impactful compared to 1, because I feel like 2 is the fully realized promise of the first game, because 1 is so limited in its runtime and its exploration of what it has to offer that all I wanted when I finished that game was more. And 2 delivers that without any hint of disappointment whatsoever. Right,
but like at no point
I feel like 2 is the realized promise.
No, like I don't see it like that. I see 1 as like, this is like a new way of playing a game like this. Like this is a game where you've got a gun and it's not about shooting bullets. It's a full game. Like it's when you're playing it for the first time, it is. It's not short. When you're playing it for the second time, it's much faster, but it's like you know, like those moments where you are breaking the containment in the first Portal game, they are legitimately exciting, like Half-Life 1 style moments where you feel like the walls of everything you've been taught are literally falling down at your feet. And the like true, it retreads some of that ground and then takes it in a newer, more interesting direction later with its, you know, ability to go to the areas where you get all those new mechanics and stuff. And that is the way you do it. But like, it's not going to be a game that you're able to look at, or like a piece of media that you're able to look at and say like, oh, this is so far and beyond its own thing. It is not separate to Portal 1. It is maybe a full realization of Portal 1, but it is so intrinsic to that game. I will
need to flip a coin.
I will leave it to you, but that is maybe the only case that I can make for it. That like as a year for its definition, I think that's how I can reconcile those two. But I will leave it to you if that is enough of a conceit over.
I mean, it's hard, right? Because we do these lists as like our personal lists, right? Like I don't think Deus Ex Human Revolution is better than Minecraft. I don't think it's better than Skyrim. Like,
I think it's better.
I don't think it's. It might be better than LA Noire, but like you know what I mean, right?
Cool
like
game.
I picked this as sort of. Oh yeah, totally, and it.
I meant LA Noire.
It's. Oh, that is a cool game. Yeah, that is a cool game. It is flawed though.
It is flawed.
It is. Its pacing is whack.
Oh yeah.
And like there's nothing to do in the open world. But it's there on my list because it means something special to me, and it's one of the biggest games that I've enjoyed from that year. But then we get to this reframing of it where we're coming up with the outlets game and
the objective game of the year.
Yeah, that's the thing. So, you know, I can, you know, if I zoom out a little bit and I look at, you know, what you were saying before about like the impact and how far Minecraft reached and as you said, broke containment, and Portal 2 did that to some extent. It was very popular, but then it petered out because they didn't do anything with it. They didn't really touch it at all after its release. Like maybe some patches, I think, some added co-op stuff. I think there was an extra co-op world they added a few months or a year after or something like that. And then that was it. Whereas Minecraft has continued to iterate and continued to build and continued to reach and in a way that nothing has. Not in the same way. Like maybe Fortnite eclipsed it, but it didn't reach out the same way and captivate people the same way.
Yeah, yeah. Like
they each carved their own niche,
which is why I think that like that's why I'm going like harder for Minecraft, like less on the personal stuff, because that's sort of just I was just brought in the impact of the game when it was coming out, but like the quality of that game to be what it is, I think was enough for it to be the objective game of the year.
Yeah.
Like even if I think Portal 2 is a 10, it's like Minecraft is like N. Like it's a weird like separate to like a lot of other things.
Yeah. See, the thing I guess that's where I'm tripping up is I don't consider Minecraft a 10 really. Not to say that it doesn't deserve all the success it's had, because it does. It appeals and reaches a very broad audience in a way that nearly nothing else has in this medium. I do think Portal 2 is a better game. Like just comparing the game to the game.
Mm.
In terms of the impact, though, you're right. Like Minecraft has been more effective. It has been, I think, more impactful to the medium in general, in terms of the effect. You know, like where in terms of what it meant for just giving birth really to the survival crafting genre, which is so robust now. Like you can go through that loop. I mean, it was probably somewhere before, but I only remember playing it really for the first time in Minecraft.
But like, I think like the idea of the game of the year is not just, is this the best game that came out, but like, is this the game of that year?
That's fair.
Which I think like, but it's like it is both a measure of quality, but also a measure of like, you know, like when
zeitgeist.
Yeah, well, like zeitgeist, but also like industry changing and defining. Like when a game like Baldur's Gate 3 comes out, you know, Liza did a couple of years ago, and it was everybody's game of the year. Like,
not ours.
No, but like I think that's part of the thing is that like I think that Baldur's Gate 3, it can be argued that it is the game of that year. I think it is probably the most recognizable game of that year, but I also don't know if that game is really like boundary pushing or industry changing, really, in a way that I think, like, you know, that Alan Wake 2 actually was in that moment. In a game like that, like, you know, Neon White could be potentially like it is a new, different type of thing that is able to be brought and executed on and then inspired by, like, in a world way back when PUBG would have been that. You know, I think that it is not just the mass appeal, it is the like are we going to see the ripple effects of that? It makes Breath of the Wild the perfect game of the year in a year, is that it is like such a change, like industry changing game.
Yeah, I mean that's a game of a decade.
Elden Ring could have been that year.
Yeah. Elden Ring's huge. Elden Ring's yeah. Oh, I think I can give it to you on I think you've convinced me, which I hate because this is exactly what happened with our Alan Wake 3 2023 Game of the Year discussion as well. I remember, I've been thinking about it after the fact, and I'm like, did I get played in that conversation today? And I don't think so. I think you made your case and you convinced me. But I'm
not saying it like it needs to be your favorite game.
No. I understand.
But I think your favorite game that year was Spider-Man 2. And I was like,
I thought it was Armored Core.
I thought Armored Core was both of our number twos.
Oh, maybe.
I think we had a shared.
Did you say Spider-Man 2 was at the top?
It was pretty high on your list, and I remember, like, in my mind, I was thinking, like, I'm not going to let this go anywhere near the top 3. You were really high on that game.
I don't even know where to look for that.
You really liked that game.
I mean, the game's great, but the story's kind of forgettable. Oh, did I? Oh, I'm gonna have to audit that after the show.
I could be misremembering exactly where it was on your list, but I remember it being high.
It's probably in Notion somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's it. That's the game of the year, 2011 Minecraft, which is so funny to say out loud.
Most Minimap Awards 2023 thoughts. Most likely to have a retrospective rehabilitation in 5 years.
Oh my god.
Forspoken? Diablo 4.
Motherfucker, it started to happen for Forspoken. Have you seen this online?
No, has it really?
Yes.
That's crazy.
I can't believe it.
Diablo 4 has been slowly currying favor with each new season and expansion.
I can't believe it.
I think these are my working notes. This is my short list, and then I must have pulled the actual list into whatever working doc we had at the time.
Well, Game of the Year was a different episode to the Minimap Awards. We gave Baldur's Gate 3 the Zeitgeist Award.
Oh, here it is. Top 3 and honorable mention. Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom, Armored Core 6: Fires of Rubicon, Lethal Company, Metroid Prime Remastered.
It was Tears of the Kingdom.
Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
It was Tears of the Kingdom that I was like trying to prevent get to the top.
Yes, because you felt it didn't really.
Well, I finished it at that point. You hadn't finished it, and I was like, the fucking ending.
Yeah,
like,
but also I love the ending, and you don't.
I know.
So.
I can't. That's a whole different.
I love that ending.
It's a whole different can of worms.
It is. We're well off track. I think you've made the case for Minecraft that I'm willing to acquiesce first place to Minecraft. Portal 2 is a very close runner-up.
One final question for you, and then we'll go. Is Portal 2 the best Valve game?
Oh, that's so hard. That's so hard.
You have like 20 seconds.
Well, let me. The reason it's so hard is exactly why we were just having difficulties here, is because we're then talking about a completely different genre of game with Half-Life and Half-Life 2, completely different genre of game with Counter-Strike, with Dota, with well, people would say Deadlock. TF2. That's fucked
Alex?
up.
You have 15 seconds. You have 10 seconds. I need a yes or a no. You don't have to.
For me, yes. For the world, probably not.
I didn't ask that. I said, is it the best game? And you have 3 seconds. 2, 1.
I don't think so. I think Counter-Strike probably takes it.
Really? Okay.
And maybe Half-Life 2.
I was going to say, well. I'd probably put Half-Life, but I've not played nearly as many of those games.
It's close. Like this is like comparing diamonds. Like,
and you too can compare diamonds in the next episode of the MiniMapCast, which is not happening now. It's happening next time. I'm going to read the outro.
Is this one of the diamonds?
This is one of the diamonds. Every episode is a diamond. That does bring us to the end of this episode of the MiniMapCast. Thank you very much for joining us. The best way to make sure you don't miss out on the next episode is to follow us on social media at MinimapAU everywhere aside from Blue Sky, which is minimap.com.au. You can also head to the very same URL for absolutely everything else Minimap related, including the Minidisc podcast and Box of Scraps, a Marvel Studios history podcast. And finally, Minimap is completely independent and almost entirely self-funded. So to help keep the lights and mics on, you can support us by becoming a patron. For only $5 a month, you can know that you are indeed supporting us, and there's a few fun videos over there as well. Head on over to patreon.com/minimapau to help us out. And remember, it's cheaper than a latte with oat milk. Carrie, where can they find you?
Do you think this would have been one of the diamonds if we'd recorded this second half on my phone after my internet went out like I originally wanted to?
No. I don't.
No?
Well, I mean, look, you'd have to compare it to the next episode to truly know, because like I said, they are all diamonds, but there are, some of them are diamonds in the rough and some of them are diamonds amongst diamonds. And speaking of diamonds, Kerry, where can people find your posts on the internet?
Shucks. You can go to basically my Blue Sky is the best place. That's kjpalmer.bsky.social. If I'm more active anywhere on online these days is mostly on Twitch. I'm streaming once a week on Twitch at the moment. That's Scotch240 on Twitch, which is completely different to my Blue Sky. But I also post about that on Blue Sky. So you just follow me on Blue Sky, you'll get all of that.
You need like a link in bio. That's what you need.
I need someone to I need I need like
help,
a Queer Eye makeover, but it's just for all of my social handles. I need a social presence rehabilitation rework.
You gotta go to like seminars.
Yeah.
I'm Obi-Wan Jez in most places aside from Blue Sky, in which I'm jeremy.minimap.com.au. The only other way to find other things that I do is to respond to my emails. People that I'm emailing, you get back to me. Hurry up. Anyway,
You're gonna send them this video with the timestamp.
Yeah, I'm gonna clip it out and send it to them. Anyway, thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.
so close, Portal 2.